Good, magic words, recording in progress. So I'm pleased to welcome everyone to our March membership meeting. If you're just joining us and missed our pre-meeting program, although I think everyone was here, you can catch it on our YouTube channel, which I encourage everyone to subscribe to. And Carla just put the link in the chat box. I'm Graham Murphy, chair of the 34th, and I'm officially calling the March 2023 meeting of 34th District Democrats to order at 7:31 p.m. I have some board business before we get into the agenda, some breaking news that I just want to share before we get into the official agenda. So first, Chris Porter, our elected state party representative, has submitted his resignation, and I've accepted it. It is effective March 31st, 2023. Chris has been a tireless advocate for the 34th at the state party, and I'm super thankful for his numerous contributions, including his advocacy for equity within the party. And I am going to be, Chris and I have already started exploring some other leadership opportunities within the 34th, and look forward to him continuing on in some capacity. We will hold an election to fill his seat at our next regular meeting in April. And if you're interested in being nominated for this position, please email me at chair@34dems.org. I also need to share that Lori Hennessy resigned her position as chair of our fundraising and events committee. Lori accepted a new professional position that necessitates her spending more time and attention on travel and taking on that new leadership role. And so it's just not possible for her to continue in the chair role. But right up until the moment she resigned, she was already helping with groundwork for our fundraiser and getting our events for the year off the ground. So I'm super appreciative of her contributions. But that being said, in order to achieve our fundraising goals and carry off the events that we're hoping to support our candidates this year, we do need a new chair. So I look forward to working closely with and supporting whoever is able to fill this role. And again, please reach out to me or feel free to share your interest with me in the chat box. Or if you know someone that could be good for this role, feel free to send me some names. And if you have not already, go ahead and open up your calendars because our summer fundraiser will be on Saturday, July 22nd. Time and location still to be determined, but we expect this is going to be a pretty fun gathering with fellow local Dems and really key to ensuring that we support our locally endorsed candidates and get them the support that they need. With that in mind, multiple races are increasingly heating up, and you're going to hear from 3 candidates this evening in our candidate spotlight. And we already have 6 candidates for our Seattle District 1 seat that are running or have shared that they're running, and 3 of them are going to speak at our April meeting. And then we have a couple candidates for our King County Council District 8 seat, and one of them will be speaking to us tonight, and another one in April. And I'll share more about our preliminary plan for candidate forms and endorsements later on in this meeting. Additionally, you all have gotten your democracy dollars in the mail, so please don't forget to use this program and spend the dollars on your candidates early on in the cycle. Early support can really help those candidates win. All right, so now let's get to the business of the meeting. And let me pull up our deck here. All right. All right, so the screen up on the screen, you'll see our proposed agenda for this meeting. This was previously sent to our PCOs and members. I need to amend the agenda and add that former Burien Councilmember Crystal Marks, candidate for Burien City Council, will be joining us tonight in a candidate spotlight. I neglected, it was my fault. I neglected to include her, so she will be joining us. So with that in mind, is there any discussion on the agenda with that amendment?
I would move adoption of the agenda. That's
I would
Ann
second it.
Martin.
Are
I
there
would
any?
second. Bonnie Hatcher.
I guess I should say as amended.
Okay, thank you. Any objections to the adoption of the agenda? All right, hearing no objections, the motion passes by unanimous consent. and the agenda is adopted. The screen here shows our meeting minutes from the February 8th meeting. The minutes were previously sent to PCOs and members. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Are there any objections to the adoption of the minutes from the February 8th meeting? Any objections? All right, hearing no objections, we'll pass these by unanimous consent, and the minutes are adopted. All right, now I'm going to turn things over to our first Vice Chair, Rachel Glass, to share our land acknowledgement. Rachel.
Thank you. Let me just, got lots of notes here. Okay, just sorry, I'm not on mute, right? Can you hear me, everybody?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. On behalf of the 34th LD Democrats, I acknowledge the land on which we stand today as the traditional home of the Coast Salish and Duwamish people, the traditional home of all tribes and bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, Snoqualmie, Puyallup, and Muckleshoot nations. Without them, we would not have access to this gathering or to this dialogue. I ask that we take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land on which we live and work, who are still here.
Thank you, Rachel. I'd also like to recognize elected officials who are joining us this evening and see if they have any legislative or issue-based announcements they'd like to share. Again, this is not a time for a candidate spotlight or to promote a candidacy, but if you have any issues that you'd like to present on, I'll call on each of you one at a time and give you the floor. And Carla, please let me know if I missed anyone that's joined since I last was able to see the list. But first, I'd like to recognize Burien Mayor Aragon.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Nice to see everyone, and just
Yes,
really grateful to be here. And don't have
Graham, do
don't
you
have-
want to highlight so we can see Mayor Aragon?
We could put her on speaker view on our individual. Yeah.
I'll stop sharing the screen.
That's
There we
good. Perfect.
There you go. Well, thank you, everybody, and just wanted to say hello. I'm glad to be here, and this is actually the 30th anniversary of our very young city. So I'm looking forward to a lot of festivities throughout the year, and I hope a lot of you join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations on that milestone. I'd like to now recognize Seattle Councilmember Mosqueda.
Thank you again. I will say my comments about the other upcoming race for just a second and also let folks know, as I mentioned last month when you supported the behavioral health levy, how exciting that was. To complement that work, we know we need to get more folks into housing. So just want to put on your radar that starting next month, the Seattle housing levy discussions will start. We will have 3 months of opportunity for folks to do public engagement to talk about what they'd like to see in the Seattle housing levy, which has had overwhelming support in the last 2 times it's been on the ballot. So more information to come about that, but starting the first week of April and then the 3rd week of April, we'll kick off our 3 months of talking about the housing levy. So we'll make sure to share information with the chair and get that out to the 34th as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. I'd now like to share the floor with King County Council Member McDermott.
Thank you, Graham. And I can assure you I won't be talking about any campaign business. Since I was last with you all, I have announced that I'm not running for re-election this fall, and we'll save any big tribute or thanks to the end of the year. Certainly not ever going to write obituaries this year, but will tell you that it has always been a pleasure to serve my neighbors here in the 34th, and have always felt this was really a home community, and if you will, even a hiring committee. So been happy to be here with you regularly. And the work I'm doing this year includes some key work for me around the King County International Airport and how the airport can work better with neighbors and community immediately around the airport and impacted by the airport's operations, from noise to health effects to transit and transportation. And I've worked with community to craft legislation, very much listening to them and making sure that the work meets their needs, and working with colleagues, the airport and others to advance that legislation this year. That's a key priority. You'll hear more about it. And with that, I'll thank you and look forward to the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, council member. And I'd also like to recognize King Conservation District member Chris Porter.
Thank you, Graham. I certainly want to thank everyone for their support of me in the last election, which I did not achieve re-election, but it's been really great. Again, conservation is not just something for me that was the office, it's what I will continue to do and always do. Continue to bring programs back to the 34th on just simply how we can be better stewards of the natural environment around us and improve it so that my favorite pollinators, birds, bees, butterflies, have a chance to flourish, always making everyone aware that their population and their numbers continue to decline, and we simply cannot live without them. That being said, if you had an opportunity to get bare roots, those who ordered them would have picked them up last week. I hope you had an opportunity to do that in the coming month. If you're interested in mason bees, it'll be time to put those out. So again, there's so much to do, and conservation is an ongoing effort. So we try to strike a balance between the impact that humans place on the planet versus the sustainability of systems that we must have in order to continue to live. So again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you again for your service, and I know we're all rooting for you. And I'd also like to recognize some other officials just to share that they're present here tonight. Former council member Buren, Councilmember Marks, and our State Party Affairs Director, Drew Estep. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right, we're going to move into our candidate spotlights, and I'm pleased to welcome 3 candidates to our candidate spotlight this evening, which is an opportunity for candidates to introduce themselves for about 5 minutes. This is not an official forum or endorsement meeting, which comes later in the election cycle, so there is no Q&A. This is really just an opportunity for folks for the candidates to share who they are, what they're running for, and why they're seeking your support. So our first candidate this evening is Seattle Councilmember Teresa Mosqueda, who is running for the King County Council District 8 seat. She was elected in 2017 and re-elected in 2021 to be the Seattle citywide council member in position 8. And welcome, council member, again, and I will turn the floor over to you.
Thank you so much. Do you mind helping me turn my camera back on? Is that okay? It might be on my end. So here we go, start my video. Okay. Wow, thank you so very much. It's really wonderful to see all of you, and it's exciting to be here. I was thrilled to be able to hear the pre-discussion with Steve Daschle and to hear all the great things that are happening with Southwest Youth and Family Services, but also to hear some of the questions that you all had. So thanks again for the opportunity to be here with you tonight. Before I get started, can I just ask how much time you would like me to take? Because I don't want to go on too long.
Yeah, you have about 5 minutes.
Okay, thanks so much, Graham. So happy International Women's Day. Thanks again for the opportunity to be here with you. I'm Teresa Mosqueda, and for the folks that I haven't had the chance to work with before, I am a member of the 34th Legislative District. This is where our family is raising our kiddo. We have a 3-year-old daughter, and we live right here in the North Delridge neighborhood, just around the corner from Youngstown, or just down the hill from Luna Park. So it's really exciting to be able to join you and talk with our friends from the 34th Folks know me, hopefully, as a Seattle City Council member citywide. Thank you very much to the 34th Legislative District Democrats for your past support for my last 2 races. I currently represent the entire city of Seattle in an at-large seat. And in addition to that title, I think my most important title is mom. I have a 3-year-old kiddo. Her name is Camila. You may hear her. You may even see her at some point tonight. So I'm excited to be able to be here with members of the 34th to talk about why I'm excited about bringing my lived experience as a new mom, as a woman of color, as someone who is excited about creating roots in the community and being able to live here throughout our life and be able to afford to stay here and not get displaced. This is the place that we call home. And I'm so thrilled that I can go out and talk in community about what it looks like to create a healthy, thriving, housed, resilient community, because that's what I have in the North Delridge neighborhood. I have access to our childcare center, which is just around the corner, a few blocks away. I see Jordan on the line here tonight, who is part of our childcare center. And really, this is part of what creates community, the ability to walk to your childcare, to your community center. I have 5 bus lines that I can take either to downtown or to our public beaches in West Seattle. We are in a working family neighborhood with access to grocery stores and small businesses. And this is the type of thriving, resilient neighborhood that I think we have the opportunity to create for the folks who are currently here in our region, and also for the huge number of folks who continue to move to our region in Seattle and across King County as a great place to live. Also, great place to start a job, great place to start your own business, and a really good place, probably in the very near future, to continue to have a more stable climate, given what we're seeing across the board in terms of global warming. So I'm excited to say that I'm a progressive Labor Democrat. That is how I have run in the past for my citywide seats. And it's really fueled the policies that I got into office to accomplish, which is creating the ability for more people to have that resilience and to have access in their neighborhood, have high opportunity neighborhoods that they can live in, like we do here in the 34th and like I do in this North Delridge neighborhood. A lot of folks probably know me from my previous work with the Washington State Labor Council, AFL-CIO, where I worked for almost 8 years as the political director representing 500,000 workers in Washington State. And I'm really excited to have been able to go into office and say what creates healthy local economies, what creates good, thriving environments for businesses is when workers are invested in. When we invest in what workers need, it actually creates greater stability and opportunity for everyone. And that's what I've done on Seattle City Council, national recognition for passage of things like Domestic Workers Bill of Rights, hotel worker protections, especially during the pandemic for some of our most vulnerable workers on the front line. And what excites me, though, about being able to now enter this race for King County Council is to be able to continue to expand upon what we know creates healthy and resilient communities. And I want to thank Councilmember McDermott, who's with us here tonight, for his decades of service, both in the state legislature and on King County Council, to be able to build upon the great work that he's done, and the representation of District 8 would be my incredible honor. I know that what we have fought for in the city of Seattle in terms of increased access to affordable housing, increased ability to have a good living wage job, expanded access to affordable child care that's accessible, and accessible transit and frequent transit. Those are things that stretch far beyond Seattle's borders. And as we see more and more people coming to this region, and as we see more and more people within the city of Seattle getting pushed out of the city or priced out of the market, I'm really excited about the opportunity to serve on King County Council, to be a partner with local jurisdictions, to be that representative within the unincorporated areas, to be able to build more workforce housing by supporting folks with not only resources, but promoting public policies that can allow for more workforce housing. This is what I've heard from former State Senator Sharon Nelson, who has endorsed me, saying, folks out here on the islands, we want more workforce housing. And that's what I'm hearing as well in Tukwila and Burien and in Georgetown. We want more housing for construction workers, childcare providers, nurses. So my commitment to you all is that I will continue to work to build upon the great work that you've seen from Councilmember McDermott, to expand upon those priorities that I prioritize while on Seattle City Council, and invest in affordable housing, invest in our community's health, because King County is the place to invest in public health and behavioral health services. And finally, to expand access to good living wage jobs by investments in childcare and access to transit, so that more people can get to their place of work, but that we can also invest in great career opportunities through union apprenticeship training opportunities. So thrilled to have been endorsed by more than 100 individuals and organizations as we launched. TeamTeresa.org is our website, and more information to come very soon about exciting events. And I'm in District 8 in community every Friday and throughout the week as well. So if you want me to come out there, please do let me know. And you can reach me at Teresa@TeamTeresa.org. Thank you so much again, 34th, and look forward to seeing you in person one day soon.
Thank you, Councilmember. And we put the website in the chat so everyone can access that as well. All right, so our next candidate in the spotlight is former Burien Councilmember Crystal Marks, who is running for position 6 on the Burien City Council. Crystal previously served on the council from 2018 to 2021 and is currently the Vice President of Operations for the Seattle Seawolves Major League Rugby team, and I saw them last night at the Kraken game, and the former Executive Director of Seattle Pride.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And much like Councilmember Mosqueda before me, I do have little kiddos running around. So if you see or hear someone, I try to blur my screen, but we'll see what happens. Good evening, 34th District Democrats. It's great to be back with you. I was in the 33rd, then the 34th, and then the 33rd again after the redistricting. So it's great. I was a 34th District PCO. I'm now back to a 33rd District PCO. We'll look forward to some friendly rivalry this coming election cycle as PCOs are knocking doors to see how many doors can be knocked for great Democratic candidates all through our 2 districts. I am a mother of 4. For those who don't know me, my kids range in age from 7.5 up to 15.5, almost 16, as they like to remind me. I've got a little girl, 2 boys, and a trans son as well. And they're all the most amazing kids that you'll ever meet. I am currently the Vice President of Business Operations for the Seattle Seawolves Major League Rugby team. If you didn't know that we had a Major League Rugby team, now you do. It's a surprise for many, just there in Tukwila. And before that, I was the executive director of Seattle Pride. It's the organization most largely known for putting on the Pride Parade every year through downtown Seattle. I was there from 2019 till 2022. And which brings me to also having previously served on the Burien City Council with your support, getting elected in November of 2017 and serving from 2018 to 2021, where I was also the deputy mayor for the last 2 years of my time on council. And the reason I'm running now here in 2023 is to continue the work that was started from council members even before me, who are strong Democrats, who are focused on finding solutions for the problems that Burien is experiencing, and doing so in a way that doesn't isolate our city from the rest of King County. I'm running for position 6, which is currently held by our mayor, Sophia Aragon, as she is vacating to run for a different office. So right now that is an open seat, and I'm the only candidate in Burien to have filed for the Burien City Council right now. So the reason I'm running so early is not only just to fundraise and to make sure that we can get that campaign literature and to knock on doors, but I think it's important to start meeting people in our community who are sharing the same concerns that I feel, but they're sharing it on social media. We need to have those face-to-face conversations about how do we address homelessness in downtown Burien? There's folks that are camping in tents outside of City Hall. What does it look like to address that with humanity and dignity and respect, with an eye towards actual solutions and not moving the quote unquote unsightly problem of homelessness, not moving that to a different location in the city or a different location outside of Burien. Burien, as our mayor mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, was founded or incorporated 30 years ago. And one of the key factors to that incorporation was a desire from the city, or what became the city, to push back on King County for daring to try to cite low-income housing in Burien. I believe that's not the right reason to found a city, but we're here and I'm so glad that we are. But that is an underlying issue, is this idea of pushing folks down the road and making it someone else's problem. And I have a hard time seeing a person as a problem. I was formerly unhoused as a child in Aberdeen, Washington. My mother-in-law and I lived in her car. We lived under a bridge. We lived on friends' houses until I was removed from my mom's care and moved in with my father in Bellevue. So I know firsthand what it's like to be looked down upon for that reason. As a queer woman, I also know what it's like to be told that I am too different, too other. And Burien is not that kind of place. Burien is very welcoming. We have a welcoming ordinance in place that says no matter who you are valid here. You are welcome to set up a business, to practice your faith, to own your home and build generational wealth, to be a renter like I am, and 49% of Burien residents are. And we need more of that representation on council. We also need to make sure that we're focusing on the environment and the impacts that we have by being next door to the airport, the largest or the fastest growing airport in the United States. Folks who live under the flight path need to know that someone has their back and is pushing back on potentially harmful policies. And finally, I bring to the table not just my 4 years of experience on the council, but also I served on the King County Board of Health with a few of the folks who are here on this call, and working for regional solutions. I'm not afraid to make sure that Burien is at the table, because if we're not at the table and decisions are being made, they're going to be made in ways that do not benefit our city, and we need to be conscious of that. My website is Crystal with a K, the number 4, burien.net. I saw it in the chat and appreciate that. If you have any questions, please do feel free to reach out. It's crystal4burien@gmail.com. And we are hitting the doors soon in April to start knocking and getting to know our community. And I really appreciate getting to say hello to you this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate it. And then our final candidate in the spotlight tonight is Judge Corrine Wilson, who was appointed to the King County Superior Court bench by Governor Inslee in 2021, and now needs to run for election to retain her position 30 seat. Welcome, Judge, and I'll turn the floor over to you now.
Thank you. I was actually appointed last year, so I am a relatively new judge. And you are correct, I am running to retain my seat. I was appointed, I sought appointment because I wanted to do what I think all of you want to do here tonight, and that's make the community a better place. I'm lucky to get to do that for a job full time and get to see a real impact every day on people's lives. I absolutely love the job, love getting to interact with people in a positive way. A lot of people see the court system, and rightly so, as a traumatic place to be. And it's my goal to make it a restorative place to be, a place where people can come for help and get the services they need. So I wanted to tell a quick story that gives you a little bit of background on me and honors women in light of International Women's Day today. I am on the faculty with the National Institute for Trial Advocacy. I spent 22 years as a trial lawyer, and so I now teach trial skills to the next generation of lawyers. Last year, I got to be a part of the Women in Trial program, which is an exciting program that the Institute put on. And the interesting history of it is that last year was only the 3rd time the program had ever been done. It was the first year in person since the 90s. Now, it was done for the first time, I want to say it was like 97 or 98, and it was only done that 1 year until 2021. And the reason for that is because there was so much backlash from men asking, well, what are you going to teach? How to accessorize at deposition? And we're talking about the late 90s. I mean, it's surprising, it's shocking. And so for me, it's been really rewarding as I go through my career to foster skills in younger women, to reach out to people, even at the high school level. I've been involved in mock trial there and teach kids from all backgrounds, male or female or however they identify. Everyone can have a place in the legal profession. Everyone can have a voice. And this is a pathway that is potentially something that you can do if you want to. It's a pathway that's meant for you. So thank you for having me tonight. It's great to get to see you all on screen, or see most of you who have your cameras on screen. And thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate the chance to get to speak to you.
Thank you, Judge. I really appreciate it. All right, so I thank you all candidates that joined us this evening, and we wish you all the best with your campaign and look forward to seeing you throughout the campaign season. As I shared during our pre-meeting, we're gonna move on with our business now. It's a source of great personal pride that we at our last meeting endorsed the King County Crisis Care Levy, Crisis Care Centers Levy by a vote of 100% in favor. And this will be on the ballot in April. This levy is going to ensure greater access to behavioral health services to those in our community most in need of these resources. As Steve Daschel shared, our youth are particularly impacted by COVID, and their behavioral health needs are on the rise among young people. Girls and LGBTQ youth in particular are facing more and more mental health impacts. Tonight, I've asked Ryan Haskins, who is working on the campaign to get the levy passed, to join us. Ryan's going to share a brief update on the campaign, and then we'll see if anyone has any questions. And he'll also let us know how we can help get the levy passed and answer any questions we have. So Ryan, if you are there, I'll turn things over to you.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan. I'm with the campaign for the Behavioral Health Levy. That will be called Proposition 1 on your ballots on April 25th. It's supposed to invest in 5 crisis care centers across the county, as I'm sure you guys remember from your last meeting, and it will strengthen the community's behavioral health workforce. We're so grateful that you guys endorsed us, I hear unanimously. And I want to thank everyone for giving me the chance to update you tonight. So far, the campaign is going great. Many thanks to Executive Constantine's leadership, we're on track to hit our fundraising goals, and we're proud to have gotten more endorsements from Democratic groups across the county. Every King County council member, labor, firefighters, business, and more. And we're counting on the support of these groups, including you all, to help us spread the word about the levy. We started our social media this week, so I'm going to drop that in the chat. And we're going to start providing our endorsees with toolkits that they can use on their own social media. We're going to start posting on ours, so that way we can really spread the word across the county and demonstrate the strong support that we have for this levy. And we're currently gauging interest about a field plan, and we think we're going to do virtual phone banks, but we'd like to hear from you all if there's much interest in doing that. And we definitely would appreciate volunteers for people who have time to do an hour or two of calling people across the county and letting them know about this important levy and all the work it will do. Yeah, definitely text banking, definitely. I think that's all of my updates, so I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has them.
Yeah, Ryan, can you remind us when the ballot is going to be in our mailboxes and when we have to vote by?
Yeah, so the election is definitely vote by April 25th. And we think the ballots are going to be sent out 2 weeks before that, so around April 8th through April 12th. Be on the lookout in your mailboxes. And we're planning to do a few events. I'm not really supposed to say, but we are planning a couple events around that time. So also be on the lookout for that from us. We'll let you guys know.
We have a few minutes. Does anyone have any questions for Ryan? Feel free to use the raise hand feature. All right, Dorothy. And you're muted. You just need to.
Is there a plan for the campaign to have literature that gets mailed out to voters?
So we're not planning to do any mailers at the moment. We're sticking to phone banks and text banks and that sort.
I hope that's enough.
We think we have strong support, and we're very proud of all the endorsements that we've gotten and all the strong support that we have.
Thanks.
Any other questions? So Ryan, how can folks get, if they want a phone bank or text bank or whatever? How do they do that? How do they get in touch with you?
Please send us an email. I dropped it in the chat, info@yeskcprop1.com. Send us an email. Let us know if you're interested. Also, feel free to reach out to your chair, and I'm sure he will let us know of people who are interested as well. Either way, or DM us on social media, whatever works for you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Ryan. We will continue to promote this in our email blast, and this is really important. Want to get this passed. So thanks for joining
Thanks
us.
so much for your support, everyone.
All right. So we're now going to move forward to considering a resolution in support of a Washington tax on extreme wealth. At our February 15th board meeting, the board voted unanimously to encourage our members to support passage of a resolution in support of this tax. The resolution was shared previously in our newsletter. It's also been up on our website, and tonight we're asking you as members to consider voting on this resolution. There are currently bills in our State House sponsored by our Senator Wynn and Representative Alvarado that would put a 1% tax on financial property over $250 million to fund education, housing, and disability services. And again, our board unanimously moved this resolution forward because it supports this legislation. It also aligns with our organizational platform. It will work toward improving Washington's regressive tax system that most burdens those with the least means, as you can see on our screen here. The resolution was put forth by 34th member and our King County Democrat Representative Bunny Hatcher. I'm going to now turn things over to Ann Martin, and Carla, if we could make Ann a co-host. So Ann is our resolutions and endorsements chair. And I'm going to let her present the resolution.
Thanks, Graham. Well, you took most of my what I was going to say, but I'll say it anyway. This resolution urges Democratic legislators to vote for legislation that would enact a property tax of 1% on individual worldwide wealth. Let's say that 5 times, greater than $250 million. There are a number of exemptions in the law, including wealth under $250 million. You would pay no tax under this law if you had, for example, only $240 million in assets. You would pay $10,000. Sorry, I put in that as a joke only.
Right, don't we wish?
Yeah, you would pay $10,000 for every million that you have over $250 million. The tax collected would be divided equally between the Disabilities Care Trust account, the Education Legacy Trust account, the Washington Housing Trust account, and the Taxpayer Justice account. The chart that was up is an illustration of the problem this legislation is aimed at addressing. Tax burdens in this take a disproportional bite out of the incomes and wealth of those with less capacity to carry that burden, while more wealthy individuals pay a smaller percentage of their wealth to support the public services we all use. The House bill is co-sponsored by Representative Alvarado, and the Senate bill co-sponsored by Senator Wynn. The resolution is sponsored by Bunny. I will now share the resolution, Share screen. And I'm going to show you what we actually need to pass, and that is the therefore be it resolved. And somehow it has changed. Oh, this is the wrong,
Wrong bill.
excuse me, the wrong
resolution.
Yeah, I had it up and then I decided to bring in a bunch of other things, and I think what happened was that somehow I got the wrong resolution up, and I will get the right one. I apologize. Why is it not working? I'm going to stop sharing.
I got it.
and then
I think I got it. Let me.
I can.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go. Is that? Oops. Is that it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. If you want to share it, that's fine. I have it as well. Good. All right. So basically, this is saying that we need to pass this and that we urge all the Democrats to do so. At this point, we need a motion and action.
Yeah, let me just, so we're gonna move forward to a motion on the proposed resolution. We'll then open the floor up to a maximum of 4 speakers. One of those speakers by our bylaws is Bunny Hatcher, who presented the resolution, and 2 slots are available to speak in favor. 2 slots are available to speak against. If you're interested in speaking, you can raise your hand in Zoom. Again, we'll recognize, in addition to Bunny, 1 more in favor and 2 against, 2 minutes each. And as Ann asked for, can we have a motion on the resolution for a Washington tax on extreme wealth as presented?
If nobody is willing to, I will move it.
Can you repeat that, please, Graham?
Yes, we need a motion on the resolution for a Washington tax.
This is Chris, and I move that we support the resolution in support of a Washington tax on extreme wealth.
And I second it. Julie Whitaker.
Thank you.
All right, so per our bylaws, again, I'm going to open the floor to Bunny. I'll give you 2 minutes to speak towards the resolution.
Great. Okay. Well, as Ann pointed out earlier, this is great. We need this money to support things like education, housing, and disability services in this state. And it is a tax only on wealth above $250 million. The first $250 million that someone has are not subject to this tax. In fact, the estimate is that only 700 people in Washington would be affected, and yet their wealth is so enormous that the bills estimate that it would generate more than $6 billion every 2 years for Washington. And it comes from people who are fortunate enough to have more than $250 million in wealth. This, I think, is only fair. When you have that kind of wealth, you have the disposable income to pay more in taxes. Once upon a time, back when I was young and dinosaurs roamed the earth, tax rates for the wealthiest were up in the 85 to 90% range. Mm-hmm. So wealth tax is not something that is brand new to people of my generation. But it's unfair that people who earn the least, who have the least disposable income, are paying the highest percentage of their income. in sales tax than any other group.
All right, thank you, but that's 2 minutes. Does
Okay,
anyone,
thank you.
would anyone else like to speak in favor?
I think we have to have a for and against, then a for and against.
I don't know that's the same rules as an endorsement.
It is, okay.
Graham.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyone want to speak
For and
against?
And if no one speaks against, then we don't have a second for speech.
Got it. All right. Anyone else would like to speak against? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right, we will now launch a ballot over Zoom for members to vote on the resolution. We'll have 2 minutes to cast your vote. And while we're voting, I'll move forward with some other, well, we have some time. I'll wait the 2 minutes and then, unless it happens quicker.
Graham, can you take me off as a co-host so that I
Yes.
can actually vote? Although I'm not sure I can. But
You are no longer a co-host.
yeah, now, okay. Thank you.
Just a reminder that only members from 2023, renewed members and PCOs vote here. And Graham, you've got 30 of 36, 31 of 36 have participated.
Okay. So there, and then 2 of those are us and we can't vote. So there's only 2 more folks if those 2 folks want to get their votes in. But yeah, I think Carla, we can announce the results at this point.
Okay, 32 of 36 voting. Yeses are 94%, and no are 6%. 2 votes versus 30 votes. Not quite unanimous, but pretty darn close.
All right, and the clock is ending. So, all right, the motion passes. Thank you everyone for voting, and thank you to our Resolutions and Endorsements Committee for moving that forward. All right, moving on to our other business. Let me get our deck back up here. Whoops. And I just clicked the wrong button. Okay. All kinds of fun. Here we go. I don't know what is. All right. Sorry about this. Google is now fighting with me, so let me. The slides are relatively important visuals for the next part of the meeting, so let me get these back up here. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. It's always fun to have dead air. Okay, so candidate forums. So we need a committee. We're planning our candidate forums that are upcoming in late May or early June. So for those candidates that are on the call, and I see quite a few of you, mark your calendars. We're looking for late May, early June after everyone has filed. And I formed an ad hoc committee to work on those forums. That includes Rachel Glass, Jordan Crowley, Ann Martin, and Carla Rogers. And I just want to share with you our plan for our upcoming forums and endorsements. So we are planning to prioritize forums and endorsements for our Seattle Council D1 and King County Council D8 seats, which are most prominent positions and squarely within the 34th. In fact, the Seattle Council District 1 seat is the only seat on the Seattle City Council that fits neatly into one legislative district. There are others, the other ones that are up for election span multiple LDs, including the 34th. So this means we will definitely hold forums and endorsement votes for these seats. We will also be reaching out to and potentially co-sponsoring forums and supporting potentially endorsement processes for the 3 Burien council seats up for election and the 3 other Seattle council districts that partially overlap with the 34th, which are D2, D3, and D7 district. And then we may partner with those Democratic LDs on those forums, and we may make our own endorsements based on those forums as well. We will also consider other candidates for endorsements for other seats on an as requested and nominated basis. So for example, we've now had 2 King County Superior Court judges that came and provided candidate spotlights, and they've already asked for our endorsements. We have some Seattle School Board seats up. I believe there are around 70 or so elected positions that cross over into the 34th LD. It's unlikely we will endorse in all of those races, but we will certainly consider candidates that come forward and meet the proper qualifications, including filling out the King County Democrats candidate questionnaire. So we will be using that questionnaire. We don't want to make candidates go through the process of having to fill out multiple questionnaires, and thankfully we have members on our board and part of our 34th that are working to create that questionnaire. So happy to have that and work from that. Before I move forward, are there any questions about this plan? If you have any questions, use the raise hand feature.
Or any volunteers.
This is Chris. I certainly wanted to volunteer for the Forums Committee.
Okay. Great. Bunny, see your hands raised.
We have, I'm on the King County Democratic Central Committee's endorsement committee, and on the subcommittee that developed the questionnaire. We have completed that questionnaire, and it has now gone to the entire Democratic Central. Will go before them for a vote at the March 28th meeting. So pretty soon, by the end of this month, that questionnaire should be available and candidates will be filling it out. So we should expect to be seeing it come in pretty quickly. Also, a reminder that candidates will come to us at KCDCC asking for endorsement, and we cannot endorse any candidate that comes from strictly one LD unless first that LD has endorsed the candidate. So I appreciate that you're prioritizing those, because we're already setting our endorsement meetings. We're setting up 8-hour sessions for Saturdays and Sundays beginning in the middle of April.
Right. And you're speaking to the King County Democrats specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not implying that the 34th is going to have 200 to 300 candidates come before them.
Thank you. And I really appreciate all the work that you and Ted, and I know Preston's played a role, are working towards that and making sure we get all the candidate information we need. Dorothy, I see you're unmuted. Do you have anything you want to?
No.
Okay.
No comment.
Great. Any other questions? All right. I also just want to share, as we've shared in our weekly email, we realize that some folks think they're members, but their dues were not fully processed through the system. So sometimes when you go and enter your credit card information, you have to wait for the system to process. And if you leave the page before that's happened, the transaction didn't actually occur. So Carla is going to put in the chat box a link. You can go check your membership list, see if you're on it. If not, you may want to check your credit card and that your dues were processed, or you feel free to reach out to me. But that is something I want to make sure that everyone addresses before our endorsements, because again, only members in PCO are allowed to vote on our upcoming endorsements. And for those of you that are candidates, you'll want to make sure that folks renew their membership so they can vote in those endorsements as well. Okay, in-person meetings. So I really appreciate everyone that responded to the Google form that was provided at the last meeting. We are going to try to meet everyone's needs this year and have a mix of in-person and virtual gatherings. We'll likely try to meet a couple times this year, starting in Q2. Obviously, our budget will dictate how often we can meet in person. And I also appreciate that the virtual meetings are really accessible for folks. So we'll definitely want to be sure that we are meeting the needs of those that desire to meet in person and have that social aspect, as well as those that really benefit from the virtual gatherings. Our next meeting in April, on April 12th, will be virtual, but I am visiting various locations beyond Fauntleroy Hall. Appreciate the suggestions that were offered to see what conference facilities are available. And hybrid meetings, I'd love to see if we could do those. Unfortunately, they, to be successful, in my experience, require quite an extensive conference center setup with really great technology, which I don't think the places we're able to afford are going to offer us that. The feedback, the overall themes from the feedback were that virtual meetings are more accessible. In-person meetings are great for social component, and meeting with elected officials, and shorter meetings are better. So we definitely want to schedule those in-person meetings for when our elected officials are maybe out of session, are able to meet with us, and create some more social time when we have those meetings. And then overwhelming feedback was shorter meetings are better. So I appreciate that, and something that we will keep in mind. I'm going to now turn things over to our PCO chair, Dorothy, and we have a potential new precinct, a PCO appointment, and I'm particularly excited about this because our PCOs are the lifeblood of our Get Out the Vote efforts. So Dorothy, I will turn things over to you.
Thank you. As PCO committee chair, I have the honor tonight of presenting prospective Andrew Drew Estep, 34 Sylvan, for PCO vote. Drew, if you would please turn on your video and sound, and please say a few words about yourself and why you decided to become a PCO, even though we know that you are with the Washington Democratic Party.
Howdy, all. I heard Graham's last note here that shorter meetings are better, and I know we're already at 8:30, so I'll be real quick here. I'm Drew Estep. I'm the party affairs director with Washington State Democrats. I recently relocated into the 34th from the 43rd over in downtown Seattle. So I'm here for the long haul, and noted that my precinct was vacant, and would be really honored if I could take that on. I also understand you're missing some PCOs in the White Center area, so I'm happy to help take that on as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. So now I will read the PCO oath to you. I am willing to serve as an appointed Democratic Precinct Committee officer until December 1, 2024. I recognize that it is my responsibility to know the boundaries of my precinct and be familiar with its residents and registered voters. I understand that my duties also include providing voters with campaign material or endorsed candidates prior to each primary and general election, get out the vote activities, and new voter registration. So before the motion to appoint you, please answer, are you a Democrat?
Yes. And I see you laughing. Yes.
And you need a
also-
motion? Do you
Yes.
need a motion?
Well, I move that we appoint,
Oh, okay.
I move that.
And
we
I think you'll get a few seconds.
Okay. Moving right along. I
Well,
move,
let's,
that
yeah, Dorothy, go ahead, sorry.
I move that we appoint Andrew Estep as a PCO for the 34th District Dems.
Is
And
Chris Porter
Graham,
second?
And then only PCOs can vote. As a reminder, only PCOs can vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Aye.
Okay. Hearing no nos, congratulations, Drew, you are appointed as a PCO. It would be really awkward if you'd said you were not a Democrat. I don't know what we.
Yes.
And I'm looking to get Drew involved in more of a leadership role in the 34th as well. So I look forward to connecting with you.
And
soon.
Drew, didn't you promise that you would find some PCOs in White Center and in South Park? Didn't you say that?
Do what we can do.
Thank you.
Oh, hedging. All right, good, but we got him on the record slightly. Okay. Thank you, Drew. Really appreciate it. Yes, and please, we encourage folks become PCOs. The level of effort is not that high, but it is absolutely critical during election season, and we're going to need help knocking on doors when we have our endorsed candidates in a field of 6. All right, I'm gonna, as part of our budget report, we're gonna move right along here to our February financial report. I'm pleased to share that we have successfully set up our new BECU account. We will be able to close our Umpqua account. I don't know if I ever say that correctly, at the end of the current fiscal year. We're also happy to have our new BECU account set up for easier money management for Julie. And speaking of Julie, I'm going to turn things over to her for any details on our financials that she'd like to share.
Okay, so our January 1st beginning balance was $15,606.03. Our income was $2,246.45. Our expenses were $1,794.68. So our month ending balance, which is including both accounts, which the income and the expenses did also, is $16,057.80. Any questions? Anybody still here?
Julie, I don't have a question, but just as a reminder, the 34th, oh, it was an echo. Okay. The 34th still stands out as one of the few LDs that has a remarkable amount of revenue available to do the work. Some of our neighboring LDs are getting by with, if they can fundraise $5,000 to maybe $8,000 a year. So it's just something to remind us all that we sit in a very comfortable, but yet one would even say privileged perspective from what we have available to us in the work that we're able to do.
Yes, I agree. We do a really good job. Our expenses are the basics. We have a good membership income and we don't overspend. Yeah,
But we
put-
shouldn't relax.
No, but I'm saying we do put the money where it needs to go for the best outcome with candidates and endorsements and that kind of thing. I think we do a really good job. So thank you, Chris.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And but come fundraising time, I'm gonna wipe that all from your memories and say, we need the money.
Oh, well, yes, we're gonna definitely need it.
We need the
coming up.
funds, especially if we're gonna have some of those gatherings, and I know we're going to have a candidate in a really tight race, or maybe more than one candidate, and we definitely want to support our friends in Burien, who generally have some more conservative candidates on the ballot as well. So where we may be a better funded LD, and that is a point well taken, is one I heard from our from Carrie Barnes, who chairs the King County Democrats, but also let's get those resources so we can put them to good use as well. All right, we now have a few minutes for our good of the order. Well, I guess we have more than a few minutes. So, but please use the raise hand feature if you have something you'd like to share. And I'll just share as a reminder, we have our pop-up social this month, which thankfully I'm not on vacation this month and I can join at the Elliott Bay Brew House in Burien, and that is Friday, March 24th. I've not been to that one. I've been to the one in West Seattle, which is great, but I look forward to seeing everyone on Friday, March 24th. Mark your calendars, 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I've marked mine. Let's get out there and see folks. And Steve, I see you have your hand raised, so I'll hand things over to you.
Yes, may not seem like it right now, but summer is on its way. We're going to be out there at events around the community, tabling and doing, voter registration, that kind of thing, supporting our candidates. To that end, I will be having a virtual meeting this coming Monday, the 13th, at 6:30. So if you want to join, I'm looking for volunteers and ideas of things to do. Please email me at outreach@34dems.org, and I'll send you a link to that. Now I'll put that in the Slack column too, in the Slack channel as well. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Are there any other good of the orders? Yes, Dorothy.
People I talk to that, I'm trying to get them involved, etc. It seems like public safety is on everyone's mind. And whether it's a perception that people don't want to take the bus downtown because of safety issues, I don't think we can just not talk about it. I think that would be doing a real disservice, because I do think there's a lot of angst about public safety. And it's something that I don't think we can, and I think at these community outreach events, I think that's going to be something that I would want to just, gauge public reaction and, what is the most important issue for them. And I'm just amazed to think that people say, I'm afraid. And it's like, wait, I don't know why you'd feel that way in West Seattle, but nevertheless, I don't think we want to ignore it. That's all I want to say.
It's a good point, and certainly we want to collect member feedback and community feedback as we go about designing questions for our forums. Chris?
Yes, as everyone I'm sure is aware of, today is International Women's Day. And while I appreciate the speaker from Southwest Family Health and Services, I'm hoping next year we can reach out to a local woman or someone here that will bring us information to help bring greater awareness, and just that we acknowledge and pull in that on that day. I was really hoping or thinking that someone from the community, ideally a female, would be speaking on whatever issue. There are so many today, so it was although what was presented was spot on, and certainly there's no argument whatsoever on what was presented. I'm just thinking about when we talk about inclusion, who's at the table, who gets to tell the story. on this day next year, will there be a woman that will tell that story? That's all.
I appreciate that, Chris. That's really helpful feedback and point taken. Really appreciate it. Any other good of the orders? All right, well, fine. Yeah,
Can I, Graham, I will be sharing the West Seattle Democratic Women's program this month, probably this coming weekend. And that will be on March 23rd at 6:30. I will give the details to Carla, and I am very grateful that the 34th district has been announcing those meetings. So thank you, and be on the lookout. I think it will be about Indigenous women and their perspective. So it's not exactly on Women's Day, but it will be a program that we should listen to. Thank you.
thank you. Any others? All right, well, finally, the next board meeting is scheduled for March 15th at 7 p.m. You can contact me for details. And our next membership meeting again is April 12th with a pre-meeting program at 6:30 p.m. And I'm sure if you have suggestions for that program, Rachel would appreciate them. You can send them to our program chair, Rachel. Now, if there's no further business and there is no objection, the meeting will be adjourned. Is there any objection? All right, there being no objection, our March meeting is adjourned at 8:42 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for your participation, and see you next month.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Right.
everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Nice job.